Hello, my name is Grace Awais, and today I'll be talking about the civil liberties and the civil rights of the people of America. And in America, everyone talks about their rights, but most people don't actually understand what those rights mean and where they come from. So the first topic is the freedom of religion. And so two things that stood out to me was the First Amendment has two clauses, one stopping the government from promoting religion and one protecting personal religious practices. So most people only think about one of those sides of things and not both of them. Um, School prayer technically isn't banned, and but teachers and people like heads they can't lead it, but the students can pray on their own. And the rules about the government is basically more about government being involved than silencing the beliefs of people. So the next thing is the freedom of the press. And so the government almost never gets to stop something from being published. Like they can publish, do, say whatever they want. They're called to prior restraint, but it's basically unconstitutional. Um, Another thing is public figures will never win libel suits. It's kind of sad, but they have to prove the publisher knew the statement was false and acted recklessly, which doesn't really make sense because like how are they gonna tap into somebody's mind and try to figure out if they're telling the truth, lying, or did it from malicious intent. A third thing is the freedom of speech. So basically, can't say anything you want. You can't say threats or incitement, and certain speech you can't. They aren't protected in this amendment. So the First Amendment protects you from the government, but it's not protecting you from your bosses or people at the schools, colleges, social media too. You're basically you sow what you reap. If you say something, then like private consequences will still happen. So the next thing is the search and seizure. So the two things that are interesting. Police usually need a warrant based on probable cause, but there are lots of exceptions, which is cars and like basically just looking at it and you see it and it's there. And school searches, like searching locker rooms or lockers or like desks. This and the second thing is the students and drivers have reduced privacy rights, so not all of them, but they kind of it's not as like you need a warrant for this all the time. Um, so so the strict it basically replaces like strict warrant rules in those situations. For the next thing, the due process of law. There are two kinds. Basically fair steps and then protecting basic rights from legal laws. You can't be forced to testify against yourself. That was interesting to me, and I think it stood out because it's funny that you like even if you're guilty and you just can't like put a mirror in front of you and be like, yeah, I didn't do that. Um, it's basically what separates justice from like taking revenge. So then the Ninth Amendment, the next topic is the Ninth Amendment. And in the Ninth Amendment, it basically reminds us that not all rights are written down, but the people have more rights than listed in the Constitution. So the Ninth Amendment is people, the rights are kept by the people. And so um, we want to remember that it's often used to support privacy and personal freedoms. For the 10th Amendment is more the state. It states that the powers are not given to the government. It's basically belongs to the states and the people in the state. So the 9th and 10th kind of work hand in hand together, basically keeping the government from taking over. Um, uh, the second thing is the core of the states' rights, the arguments. It's basically the core. Like um, the argument against like other useless constitutional laws. It could be like overridden. Equal protection. So in the 14th Amendment, it requires governments to threat people to treat people equally unless it's to and unless it has like really strong reason not to. And so second thing, not all groups are at the same level of scrutiny. Race gets strict scrutiny and other genders, and we deserve all equal protection. And in discrimination, the Constitution only covers the government discrimination, which was interesting. The private bias is basically unconstitutional. And then women and people with disabilities are treated unequally in practice, and there is a gap and it remains. And that's it. Thank you for listening.